take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
Hello, Take Flight listeners. How is everyone doing? So welcome to episode 74. So this is actually going to be a very different episode, and I'm going to explain as to why. We've actually come up with a really, really good idea that we hope you guys will like. And then we've now actually started something which is called TakeFlight Takeaways. And the whole idea is that it's going to be individual solo episodes from myself, Shuo, Daniel, and Olu, every other week, sharing no more than sort of 10 to 15 minutes on things that are actually we've either personal experiences, something that we've learned that we actually want to share. It could be something along a book review or something trending that we think is interesting. We want to share our opinion on it. So I think it's a great idea, and it's just another way of us trying to sort of see how we can provide more value to you as our listeners. So I have been given the honors of going first. So bear with me. It's almost like I'm basically almost like having a conversation with myself. But I think over time, as we get more comfortable in doing this, I think we're really going to sort of unlock the value. So yes, I was thinking about what it is I wanted to share with you, and many of you know me by now in terms of how I'm sort of building up my personal brand, in really wanting to, I'd say, empower people financially, get people thinking about wealth creation strategies, get people thinking about the importance of investing, multiple streams of incomes and things of that nature. So what I want to share with you today is a little bit around that. And it actually comes from a recent post that I actually put on my Instagram page. So what I've started to do as of recently is I've started to tweet. It's just a way of me actually sort of transferring some of my thoughts, almost like a diary, and put them onto Twitter. But I thought it was also a good idea to sort of take some of those tweets and put them onto my Instagram posts. So some of you probably would have maybe seen this, but I'll just say the tweet and then I'll go into a little bit of the story behind it. So what I basically said was the following. I said, I'm starting to think that the following is bad advice. Save money for a rainy day. I think it should be create enough passive income so you won't even feel the weather change. Now, any content creator would know that one of the best things that you can receive is positive feedback on content that you're creating. And it's safe to say that I didn't expect it, but this post went viral. You know, I received a ton of messages of people that were saying, you know, look at these sort of high-profile people that are sharing it on their timeline and things of that nature. So it was great to understand and see that the message was well received. But then I thought, you know, why is it that this message versus other ones is taken so well? And I think it came down to two things. One, I think the times that we're in. I think people, you know, last year was a year that taught you the importance of having more than one income stream and creating as much passive income streams as possible. Not to brag or to say, you know, I'm rich, but purely for protection. So I think the times that we're in is definitely a reason as to why messages like these resonate very strongly with everyone. And I think, but the second thing, which I think actually I was thinking about, and I think more importantly, I think reason as to, this is perhaps an assumption. I think one of the reasons as to why it did go viral, and I really like it was in the United States, it was in Europe, I was quite, you know, blown away with sort of where it landed. I think that the tweet speaks to a lot of it, or it speaks to the conventional advice that we've been given growing up around money, finance, and investing. And I think without knowing, but the tweet was actually helping to debunk that myth. Because let's play it out, for example. So let's say, for example, we've all been given that advice: save money for a rainy day. So, and there are many financial experts today that say, you know, save 6 months of your salary or 6 months of income, and that will protect you. So let's say, for example, I did that. Let's say, for example, I didn't really have any other forms of income apart from my job, and I closed 2019 with 6 months worth of savings. I come into 2020 and COVID hits in March. Now I've now been made furlough by my employer, and I've then later been, you know, told I have to leave because of the situation. Now I was the person that saved up 6 months of my salary. So what happens now is I've now got 6 months to find my next job, and I'm going to be panicking for the next 6 months to find something. So let's say, for example, I didn't find anything. what I really have is just 6 months to live before I'm really in desperate measures, right? So 6 months to breathe before then I'm suffocated. And it doesn't, when I play out in that way, it doesn't really sound like a very strong solution, So, and where I think the tweet comes to, I think it speaks to this point and this point only. The problem is not cash, the problem is cash flow, right? So many of us, there are a number of people that have savings, but when times get hard and you have to tap into those savings, that then, creates another problem, because then you're going to need to be able to live longer than 6 months. So let's play out the scenario whereby same person, I've still got 6 months of savings, but now I've got maybe 2 or 3 income streams, not as much as what I'm earning, but I've actually got some other activities that are paying me. Close 2019 with some savings and also income stream, coming to 2020, and COVID hits, I'm furloughed, and also I then lose my job. I'm not panicking as much because I've got these passive income streams that are helping to support. Right now, it may not be as much as what I was earning, but at least it gives me a way to continue going, right? And so, for me, I just think the save money for a rainy day is a lot of us now. I'm 31. We have 30 years of data, and you're safe to say a lot of the things that were taught growing up are not working. So I think it's really important that as we continue on this journey, we think about how do we sort of debunk a lot of these myths. Financial myths that we've sort of been told, because you can see in the real world it doesn't play out very well. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. Another thing also I can add to that, and this is something I'm thinking about putting some context around and sharing it also. Another thing similar to those lines is the following. This was another myth that I know that we've all been told, and I don't think it's true, and I'm going to explain why. So another myth we've been told is money does not grow on trees. And when I think about that advice, I think to myself, the person that would have said that was a worker. That person never understood how you could detach your work from your income, which is why they said money doesn't grow on trees. You can't just sit around and expect money to grow out of thin air. But now with some experience of investing and a real estate portfolio, you can grow money trees, providing you buy an asset, plant the seeds, you put systems and staff around it, so you nurture, right, that tree, and then if it positively cash flows every single month, thus you've created a money tree, right? So that's as a very, very quick another one of sort of debunking a financial myth. So just a couple points around I think maybe one exercise actually I can actually do in this takeaway. So I hope that those have been 2 takeaways that can actually help thinking. But maybe it'll be useful for the listeners that to think about a number of things that we have been told growing up, and look at sort of the life that you've lived so far, and say to yourself, is what I've been taught growing up actually working today, right? And if it's not, what can I do differently to ensure I'm a bit more financially empowered? I'm creating a few more options for myself later on in life, because the 2 examples I gave you don't actually hold up in today's society. Money doesn't grow on trees, and also save money for a rainy day. So I hope that sort of those 2 takeaways have helped for today's episode. As I mentioned, the whole idea of TakeFlight Takeaways is myself, Shuo, Daniel, and Olu are going to now start sort of individual solo episodes on just sharing with you some information, nuggets, bite-sized information that can actually help just to stimulate some more thinking. And we hope by doing that, we can actually bring value to you guys. So I hope this one has been interesting. If you've got any questions, any thoughts around what I've been talking about, please reach out to me. And please, if you haven't done so already, connect with us on social media at TakeFlight Podcast. And if you've got any thoughts, questions, and you want to send us an email, you can do so at takeflightpodcast@gmail.com. And I'll just close the episode with just going over the tweet once more. So I'm starting to think that the following is bad advice. Save money for a rainy day. I think it should be create enough passive income so you won't even feel the weather change.
Take off, take flight with you. Yeah, for we never fly.